Hi everyone, this is Master Matt, and today we're going to be going over the backwards break fall. This is another one of our knock bulb techniques that covers the situation of us falling backwards and having to protect ourselves from injury, namely our tailbones and our spines. We've already gone over the simple back roll, which introduces us to the backwards slap and follows with the roll over the shoulder. But with this back fall, teaches us specifically is how to fall from a height or when our legs are taken out from under us to where we can't do our simple roll from our legs all the way up to our back in that clean form. Just like with the other break falls, I like to teach this technique in stages. So we're going to start very simple and then build our way up to the most advanced form. But I do suggest that you really hammer down your back roll with the slap and have your timing down before you start practicing this break fall. Let's get started. So assuming you have your back rolls down very comfortably, we're going to start this roll in that same formation with our arms crossed over our chest, and we're going to bend down, squatting our legs, and we're just going to roll to our back and slap the ground and lift our legs, but we're not going to roll over our head. So this back fall is not going to cover that rolling part over our head. We're just going to focus on landing flat on our back and dispersing our energy. Now notice as I'm descending onto the ground and doing my slap that my legs are shooting up into the air. Even though I'm not rolling over the side of my head, I still want to lift my legs into the air because that's lifting my tailbone off the ground. That way I'm protecting that very vulnerable part of my body. Now once you're comfortable with that rolling motion into your slap, we're going to add a little bit of air to your technique. I always tell you to practice with something soft underneath you. And I know we have these mats that I normally practice on, but they're only about 2-inch thick carpet mats. And I don't think they're going to cut it to practice this high intensity technique. So we need something a little bit softer and a little bit more bulky, like this. Okay, this is a lot better. This is what we call a crash mat, and it's a lot softer, and we can mess up a lot more and not get hurt. Now to practice our technique with air, we're going to start small by bending our knees into our duck squat position and crossing our arms over our chest. To do this, instead of just softly rolling from here to our back, we're going to be jumping just a bit so that we can turn our body to flat before we hit the ground. What you definitely want to avoid doing is only turning about halfway, because the first thing that's going to hit the mats is going to be your tailbone, and that's the entire thing we're trying to avoid doing. So this is the scariest part, and that's why I suggest having something very soft so you can get very comfortable with this motion. Because if you get scared halfway through doing it on something harder like these mats, then you can really hurt yourself. So we need to get very comfortable with this turning motion in the air. So notice how when I go up, that my back is going to go straight to flat, and I need to have my slapping very well timed so that I'm not injuring any parts of my body. So I'm going to jump up and slap the ground here. Remember, legs up so that my tailbone is safely off the ground. One more time. I'll go in the opposite direction. Just a small jump so that I can flatten my body. So I'm up and slap. And like I say with stages, we're going to add just a little bit more air each time until we get to our standing position. So I'm going to, again, go to my duck squat position. And this time I'm just going to try and jump a little bit higher, but still I want to time it and position myself. And the more you practice it, you'll get used to it to where my back is hitting flat. I don't want to be from one side to the other, and I don't want to be from the back up or the top down. I want it to be all together. So I'm going to jump up. Believe me when I tell you it's going to take a lot of time for you to practice just that positioning and timing to where you can slap all with one impact before you can move on past this nice and soft target that we have before you get into anything hard, because you don't want to have any doubts in yourself. You want to be 100% confident that you have it 100% perfect and all your timing is good. So with that said, we're going to finish up in our standing position. Now all of those same principles are going to apply. I'm still jumping up and flattening my body in the air before it makes it to the mat. And very important that when I jump up, I want to think like I'm throwing my legs up, okay? I want those to be what are leading my whole motion. So when I'm coming up, I want my legs straight up in the air, and that's going to force my whole body to fall in line with itself, and that way I'm hitting the ground in one splat. So here we go, up and down. And one more time from the front angle, jump up, legs straight up, and slapping the ground here. So that is our backwards break fall. You can imagine this technique coming from something like somebody sweeping your legs out from under you, or something scarier like falling off the top of a ladder, Of course, you never want these things to happen, but you're always better being prepared for them. You can turn something potentially tragic into just minor scrapes and bruises, which I would always trade minor scrapes and bruises, maybe a fractured arm over me hurting my back or my tailbone or my neck. So this is why we practice our break falling techniques, to prevent injury in a plethora of situations. Above all, remember that these things do take time. Don't expect to practice all your break falls overnight and just be an expert at them. It takes time, and it takes a lot of overcoming fear and teaching your body that it's okay to fall in these positions, because we're not instinctually prepared to do that. That's why we always want to reach back and use our hands or fall on another part of our body that isn't good for us. So I hope this video helps you learn something. Thank you guys for watching, and keep training.